A big headline about the hamburgers we all buy at restaurants across America. Tonight, a major recall, 1.8 million pounds of ground beef because of E. coli.
Remember that gut feeling when you bite into a burger and think, is this really beef or am I chewing on a science experiment?
ABC's chief medical editor, Dr. Richard Besser, on what you should do the next time you order the burger.
Well, buckle up, because in 2025, America's biggest burger chains are serving up a lie so big, it makes their Whoppers look small. Welcome to the dark side of 100% beef, where that reassuring label means absolutely nothing, and where some chains are feeding you frozen mystery meat while others are grinding fresh chuck beef right before your eyes. Here's your brutally honest guide to what's really in that burger patty, and why 5 major chains are serving you garbage while 3 others actually deserve your money. Let's talk steaks first, and I mean both kinds. Americans devour approximately 50 billion burgers every year. That's 3 burgers per person per week. The U.S. fast food market hit $293.8 billion in 2023 and is projected to reach $454.3 billion by 2030. We're talking serious money and serious beef. But here's what nobody tells you. Beef is the most expensive ingredient in that burger. Buns, pennies, pickles, cheap, quality beef? That's where profit margins get squeezed harder than those sad flat patties. So chains have 2 choices. Use premium cuts and charge more, or use the cheapest beef legally allowed and hope you don't notice the difference. Guess which option most chains choose? Ready to find out which burger joints are quietly turning your lunch into cardboard? Let's dig in. Let me hit you with the biggest scam in fast food. When a chain slaps 100% beef on their menu, here's what it actually legally means. The product contains no other meat, no pork, no chicken, no turkey. That's it. It doesn't specify which cuts of beef, whether cattle were pumped with antibiotics, the quality grade, or whether it contains added water or processing aids. Read that again. 100% beef only guarantees there's no other type of meat. Period. According to USDA standards, 100% beef can come from any part of the cow, including the lowest quality cuts that lack flavor and tenderness, and quality can vary wildly from batch to batch. So let's break down what this really means. A chain can take the cheapest beef scraps, the leftovers after all the good steaks are sold to fancy restaurants, grind them up, pump the cattle full of antibiotics, freeze the meat for 6 months, and still legally call it 100% beef. Because technically, it's all beef, just really, really bad beef. Here's what 100% beef doesn't tell you. Which cut of beef you're getting, whether it's premium chuck or mystery scraps. It doesn't tell you whether it's fresh or frozen, and spoiler alert, frozen beef tastes like cardboard. It won't mention antibiotic use, meaning cattle living in their own waste and pumped with drugs. There's no quality grade listed. Is it prime? Choice? Ungraded garbage? You won't know the processing methods or whether it was ground fresh or mechanically separated. And here's a fun one. It doesn't even tell you about added water content. Yep, water counts as 100% beef. Now compare that vague nonsense to what premium chains tell you. In-N-Out Burger says 100% USDA ground chuck, a specific cut from the upper shoulder of the cow, processed fresh at our own facilities in California and Texas. Never frozen, no preservatives, no additives. See the difference? One tells you exactly what you're eating. The other just says beef and hopes you don't ask uncomfortable questions. Let's take a trip down memory lane to 2012, the year America discovered pink slime. Here's what that nightmare was. Beef trimmings, the scraps left after cutting steaks, got heated, spun in a centrifuge to separate fat from lean tissue, then treated with ammonia gas to kill bacteria. The result? A pink paste that could be added to ground beef to stretch it further. The practice was so disgusting that McDonald's, Taco Bell, and Burger King all announced between 2011 and 2018 they'd stop using mechanically separated meat. McDonald's announced in 2011 they'd eliminate pink slime and had to confirm again in 2018 and 2021 that they really truly stopped using it. But here's the kicker. It was completely legal, because it was still 100% beef. The industry called it an innovation, Consumers called it revolting. And even though most major chains stopped using it, the fact that it was allowed in the first place should tell you everything about how meaningless 100% beef really is. One Reddit user nailed it perfectly. The only thing I've had worse than McDonald's burgers is school cafeteria food. Ouch. But why do some burgers taste like actual beef while others taste like, well, disappointment? The answer isn't just seasoning, it's whether the beef was frozen. Here's the science nobody wants you to know. When beef freezes, ice crystals form inside the muscle fibers. These crystals literally rupture the cell walls, causing moisture loss and texture degradation when the meat thaws. The result? A drier, tougher, flavorless burger that needs 17 condiments just to be edible. Premium chains using fresh, never-frozen beef include In-N-Out, Shake Shack, Wendy's, Five Guys, Smashburger, Culver's, and Freddy's Steak Burgers. Chains using frozen beef include Burger King, Sonic, Dairyqueen, and McDonald's. Except for Quarter Pounders, which switched to fresh in 2018 after customers complained for decades. But here's what blows my mind. Why do some chains refuse to freeze their beef? In-N-Out has a company policy that no restaurant can be more than a few hundred miles from their processing plants in California or Texas. Their kitchens don't even have freezers or microwaves. That's a massive commitment. It limits expansion, it costs more. But they do it anyway because fresh beef simply tastes better. Meanwhile, chains using frozen beef can ship patties anywhere, store them for months, and squeeze every penny of profit. The beef is cheaper, the logistics are easier, and they're betting you won't taste the difference. Spoiler alert, you can. Here's the part that should terrify you. Consumer Reports and environmental groups grade burger chains on antibiotic use. In both 2019 and 2021, Sonic Drive-In and Burger King received failing grades, an actual F, for extensive antibiotic use in their beef. Let me say that again, an F for antibiotics. Why does this matter? Antibiotic use in meat production creates antibiotic-resistant superbugs, bacteria that don't respond to medical treatment. Every time you eat beef from antibiotic-pumped cattle, you're contributing to a crisis where common infections become untreatable. But here's why chains keep using antibiotics. It's cheaper to pump cattle full of drugs than give them space to live healthily. Antibiotics speed growth and prevent diseases in crowded, filthy feedlots. Chains with antibiotic-free beef include In-N-Out, Shake Shack, BurgerFi, and Smashburger. And chains that failed spectacularly? Sonic and Burger King got an F grade while promising to reduce antibiotic use by 2030, which means they're still using them right now. Same 100% beef label, completely different reality. Let's talk about what you're actually eating when you pay for quality. In-N-Out uses ground chuck, a specific cut from the upper shoulder and neck. Chuck is flavorful, slightly fatty, and when ground, creates that perfect beefy taste. Shake Shack uses 100% Angus beef, a premium breed known for marbling and flavor, ground fresh daily. Culver's uses a blend of chuck, plate, and sirloin, 3 distinct cuts balanced for flavor, fat, and texture. Notice something? Premium chains tell you exactly which cuts they use. They're transparent. They specify grades. Now look at the vague garbage from cheaper chains. Sonic says 100% pure seasoned beef patty. No cuts mentioned, no USDA certification, no details whatsoever. Dairyqueen claims 100% seasoned real beef patties, no USDA grade mentioned. If their beef was prime, choice, or even select, they'd brag about it. Whitecastle says 100% USDA beef patty. But USDA inspection just means safety checks, not quality. Doesn't tell you which cuts or grade. When a chain won't tell you what cut they use, it's because you really don't want to know. McDonald's scored lowest amongst all major burger chains on the American Customer Satisfaction Index in 2024 to 2025. Reddit doesn't hold back. One user said if the meat on a Big Mac was pressed any flatter, it would be in the second dimension. Another noted, "This is a 100% beef patty. No cuts mentioned, no USDA certification, no details whatsoever." Dairyqueen claims 100% seasoned real beef patties. But USDA inspection just means safety checks, not quality. Doesn't tell you which cuts or grade. When a chain won't tell you what cut they use, it's because you really don't want to know. McDonald's scored lowest amongst all major burger chains on the American Customer Satisfaction Index in 2024 to 2025. Reddit doesn't hold back. One user said if the meat on a Big Mac was pressed any flatter, it would be in the second dimension. There's a steakhouse next door to the McDonald's in my town. I can eat quality lunch there for the same price as McDonald's. About Burger King, customers said, I used to love BK, but the food quality has become garbage. Everything's ridiculously overpriced for such bad quality. Five Guys customers are furious. I went there a couple weeks ago and the hamburger was not like it used to be. Multiple people report locations switched to pre-portioned patties, despite claiming everything's hand-formed. Let's hear some White Castle reviews. The burgers are soggy, barely better than frozen grocery store ones. And my personal favorite, technically qualifies as food. Dairy Queen customers say burgers taste weird, look colorless, and have a too bouncy feel. All red flags for low-quality beef with fillers. Based on transparency, antibiotic use, fresh versus frozen, and what customers are saying, here are the 5 burger chains with the worst beef quality. Starting at number 5, White Castle. White Castle uses frozen patties with vague USDA inspection, claims that only guarantee safety, not quality. They steam burgers on onions instead of grilling, resulting in soggy, flavorless meat with zero sear or caramelization. One customer summed it up perfectly. White Castle. Well, it's greasy, low quality, mushy, tastes like feet, sketchy, and technically qualifies as food. Why it's bad? No transparency about beef cuts, frozen meat, terrible cooking method. It's basically a warm, wet disappointment. At number 4, Dairy Queen. Dairy Queen claims 100% seasoned real beef patties, but won't mention USDA grade, sourcing, or antibiotic policies. If their beef was actually quality, they'd advertise it. Silence suggests ungraded, subpar meat. Customer verdict? Anytime I've eaten there, I either give the food away or throw it away. I hate wasting food, but I can't be doing that to my body. Why it's bad? Zero transparency, questionable quality, weird texture. Stick to the ice cream. Coming in at number 3, Sonic Drive-In. Sonic's menu says 100% pure seasoned beef with no USDA certification or details. They received an F grade in both 2019 and 2021 for massive antibiotic use in beef. The lack of any real information suggests Sonic uses cheap, antibiotic-loaded beef. Why it's bad? F grade for antibiotics, frozen beef, zero transparency. Those slushies can't save you. At number 2, Burger King. Burger King claims 100% ground beef, but got an F grade for antibiotic use. They had a horse meat scandal in Europe in 2013. They still use frozen patties with antibiotics, promising to reduce use by 2030, which means they're using them right now. Lear's here some customer verdicts. I had one good Whopper once and almost cried. Went back weeks later and it was like eating an old sock. Why it's bad? F grade for antibiotics, frozen beef, massive inconsistency, zero transparency about cuts. The king has no clothes, and the worst beef quality award goes to McDonald's. McDonald's has the lowest customer satisfaction score, 70 out of 100, among all burger chains in 2024 to 2025. They use frozen patties for most burgers except quarter pounders. Customers complain about impossibly thin, flat patties. One customer said, McDonald's food quality has seriously deteriorated over the past 2 decades. Not just quality, the value too. Why McDonald's is number 1 worst? Despite technically using 100% USDA inspected beef, McDonald's serves frozen, heavily processed patties that consistently rank lowest in satisfaction. Prices went up, quality went down, and they're hoping you're too lazy to care. Now let's talk about the 3 burger chains actually worth your money, based on beef transparency, fresh versus frozen, antibiotic policies, and what customers are raving about. Coming in at number 3, Culver's. Culver's famous butter burgers use a proprietary blend of fresh, never frozen chuck, plate, and sirloin beef with no fillers. 3 distinct cuts create perfect flavor and texture. They scored 80 out of 100 on the American Customer Satisfaction Index, in 2024. Why it's great. Specific beef blend, fresh never frozen, no fillers, Midwestern charm without the price gouging. At number 2, Shake Shack. Shake Shack uses 100% Angus beef with no hormones or antibiotics from suppliers with strict animal welfare standards. The beef is ground fresh daily, refrigerated not frozen, then smashed on the grill for that perfect caramelized crust. They have the best protein to carb ratio among major chains, 25 grams of protein and 24 grams of carbs. Why it's great. Premium Angus, no antibiotics, fresh never frozen, perfect cooking method. Worth the wait in line. And the number 1 spot for best beef quality goes to In-N-Out Burger. In-N-Out uses 100% USDA ground chuck from the upper shoulder, a specific flavorful cut. The beef is processed fresh at company-owned facilities in California and Texas. Never frozen. No preservatives, no additives. Every restaurant must be within a few hundred miles of processing plants to maintain freshness. Celebrity endorsement? Julia Child was a regular customer. Anthony Bourdain called it his all-time favorite fast food burger. Gordon Ramsay loves the double animal style. It was ranked number 1 as America's favorite burger chain in 2022. USA Today named the Double the second best burger in America in 2024. Why In-N-Out is number 1? Specific cut of ground chuck, processed in-house, fresh never frozen, no antibiotics, complete transparency. The commitment to freshness is unmatched. This is what 100% beef should mean. So how do you spot quality beef at burger chains? Here are the red flags to avoid. Chains that use frozen beef, chains that won't tell you which cuts they use, vague labels like 100% beef with 0 details, F grades for antibiotic use, no USDA quality grade mentioned, and customers complaining about rubbery, weird-tasting beef. And here are the green flags to look for. Fresh, never frozen beef. That's chains that specify cuts like chuck, sirloin, or Angus, antibiotic-free policies, transparent sourcing, USDA quality grades mentioned, and customers raving about flavor and texture. 100% beef is not a promise of quality. It's a loophole. It means no other meat. That's it. It doesn't tell you which cuts, whether cattle were pumped with antibiotics, if beef was frozen for months, what quality grade, or where it came from. Meanwhile, chains like In-N-Out, Shake Shack, and Culvers tell you exactly what cut they use, where it's processed, and how it's handled. Same burger concept. Completely different standards. Completely different taste. Let's recap what we just uncovered. 100% beef is the biggest loophole in fast food, legally hiding mystery cuts and antibiotic-pumped cattle behind 2 simple words. McDonald's, Burger King, Sonic, Dairy Queen, and White Castle are serving you frozen, low-quality beef while charging premium prices. Meanwhile, In-N-Out, Shake Shack, and Culver's are grinding fresh, specific cuts right before your eyes, proving that transparency and quality can coexist. The difference between a cardboard burger and a real one? It's not just taste. It's whether the chain respects you enough to tell you what you're actually eating. If this investigation opened your eyes about what's really in that patty, smash that like button and subscribe for more MenuTruth food exposés. Drop a comment below with your burger chain horror stories, or tell us which fast food scandal you want us to investigate next. And if you're wondering what else these chains are hiding, check out our other investigations. We've already exposed what's really in McDonald's fries. Check the link on the right. The burger industry is counting on you staying in the dark. But now you know better. Now you know the truth. Stay curious, stay skeptical, and above all, demand to know what's in your beef.